Getting started with keyboarding online. First thing we want to do is to go to keyboarding online. Notice that there is no www here. /EPCO. Our school login and school password for Trinity Valley Community College is Trinity, and that's lowercase Trinity 88. The password is the same. And then we're going to choose the keyboard shortcut that's on the left. Now, I have had a few students that said that page waited for just a few minutes before it loaded. If you do find that to be the case, then just go up here. If this page on the back side is just like it's stuck, just go up here to the very top after a minute or so. If it hasn't brought up this screen, click your back arrow there, and then you should be able to once again click on keyboard shortcuts, and it should pop up to this one. Alright, now we're going to click on open. When we get here, you will choose your course. Whenever I put you into the system, I just did the word password, P-A-S-S-W-O-R-D, all lowercase, no capital P. If you want to change your password, you can do so here under setup. Now, this introduction part is excellent, gives you some wonderful pointers on posture. So here we start out with home row, ASDF, and JKL semicolon. And I'm going to refer to your fingers as home row. In other words, whenever I'm talking about this pinky finger here, I'm going to call that the A finger. Making the space between the letters, this is something that's going to be important for you to use just one thumb. If you're right-handed, use your right thumb. If you're left-handed, you can use your left thumb. Okay. This little key right there means to press your enter key. So for example, right here, then I would press JJ enter, you see? Okay. So you're always going to leave your finger on the J and reach with your semicolon finger over to the enter key. And that's why this is such good practice, because see, you're going to keep them in line. And just step number 6, here's your home row. So as you're placing your keys on the home row, you want to make sure that you can do this without looking at your fingers or at your keys, okay? And that means enter. And you want to move it as quickly as you can when it's time to press your space bar. Try to make it as quickly as you can. This particular one is going to say, it's a very short little timing that we're going to do as we're working through here. Okay, so to start with, this is line 1 on lesson number 1. Your goal is going to be 0 errors and at least 32 words a minute if you are in basic, and at least 55 words a minute if you are in intermediate. And that's the score for an A in the class. So that needs to be your score on every line, on every letter that you're learning from the very beginning. Okay? Now, when you're typing, you can't see what it is that you're typing. By the way, if you want this to be a little bit bigger to read, you can adjust the font down here at the bottom. You see how you can just drag that and make it a little bit bigger. Okay? So, here we go. Okay, so I typed 84 words a minute with no mistakes. Now, if you did make a mistake, then that's going to pop in and populate it. As you can see, I've done this one a couple of times, and it's going to, every time you do one with 0 mistakes, it's going to keep track of the 3 best ones that you've done. Now, had I done this and made one mistake, then it wouldn't count it at all. So, for example, I'm going to start over and do it one more time. Oh, it won't let me from here, but in a few minutes I'll show you how to do that. Okay, sorry. Now it's going to show you how I have done that on my progress report. And I'll show you in just a second how to get that. If you do want to just stop at the end of a timing, you really don't want to finish it, it just wasn't very good at all, you can click that timer button and it'll just allow you to start back over again. Now, backspace, deleting keys, arrow keys, all of those kind of things are going to only slow you down. So, you're not going to be using those at all. They're turned off. So, don't bother to try to reach up there with your semicolon finger and press the backspace key because it won't work. Okay, I do want you to look down here about your student effort. You see, I can tell how many minutes that you have spent in the program. Okay, so don't try to think that you can say, you know, I've just spent hours and hours and hours in here and I just can't seem to get this fast. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning last night trying to type at a certain speed and I can't get there to it. And then whenever I pull it up, I see that you've only typed, 15 minutes since the program started. Well, 15 minutes total effort on your part is not going to get you where you want to be on your speed. You have to put forth the time and the effort in it. Okay, and then the last one is going to be step 11. And it's saying, are you ready to learn the rest of the keys? So I'm going to turn this one off, and we're going to start over here on our main lessons menu. Okay, and this is what I wanted to show you real fast. You see how every lesson, here's the lessons, 1, 2, 3, all the way down to lesson 18, has 10 lines. So every lesson has 10 lines. So last week, week 1, you actually had 30 lines because you had 10 lines in lesson 1, 10 lines in lesson 2, 10 lines in lesson 3. Okay? And each one of those, what is your goal? Your goal is always 0 errors, and that is with no backspacing. Okay? If you do make an error, then it's not going to save it. We don't want to see any of those errors, so that's just going to be just done away with. You won't see them at all. Okay? You do need to make sure that you have at least one score of your 1+ word per minute saved for each line in this lesson in order to be considered complete. So it will not be considered complete until you achieve the 32 words a minute with 0 mistakes. Okay? Let's see. Make sure that this little button right here is your save button, so you can always click there and save your work as you go. You can also, before you finish at the end of your end of your lesson, when you're ready to shut it down and go do something different, then you can click on the save and close file. Okay, but before I save and close file, I do want to show you your progress reports. You have 2 choices, a simple and a comprehensive. The comprehensive is going to show you basically, and of course you can see I haven't typed very much, it's going to take lesson 1 and it's going to show me all 3 attempts on line 1 of lesson 1. So here's all 3 attempts all the way from line 1 through 10 for lesson 1. This is lesson 2 and those 3 attempts on line number 1. Okay? I'll close this one down. If you only want to see, notice here on this first one, 84 with 0 errors is my best one on line 1. So I'm going to close this one down. Go back over here to the simple one. Oops. And you'll see that it just put in my highest score there. Didn't show me all 3. Also, it's going to tell me about my last effort and my total effort in this course. And so you can see I've only spent a minute typing and timing. Now that's not counting how many times that you've been sitting there reading and doing other things. That's called actually sitting there and typing. Okay? How many timings did I have? I had 4 timings, and those were 15 seconds each. Okay, right through here you do have a grade report. So there's your grading scale. I can see exactly what it is that your grade is at any particular point. close this down. You're ready to save and close, and that's how you're going to keep going. And you'll work through those first 18 lessons there. Do your best. I know you will. You're going to be so proud when you find that you have actually, improved your keyboarding speed by, as much as 20 words a minute. It's pretty nice. Oh, I want to show you one more thing. This little button right there is a nice little button because it will show you a reach. For example, if I'm saying, which one of these hit this C key? Is it the F or is it the D? I'm not sure. We'll click on the C and it'll tell you which key it is. Notice that the D is green, so your D finger is going to be reaching in and doing the C. And it'll continue this little blinking until you change it. So you might say, well, which one is the period here? Is that going to be my semicolon finger? Is that going to be my L finger? And so now you see the reach. It's going to be with your L.